Hi, I'm Andrew, the Paisley Robot Guy, and I'll be installing the Raspberry Pi and expansion board on the Hiwonder TurboPi Advanced Kit. Okay, so if you like puzzles, this one will be good for you, and you'll see in a bit. So anyway, the first thing I need is the Raspberry Pi. Okay, so I'll take the Raspberry Pi, open it here, and be very careful about it. So I think some of you are familiar with Raspberry Pi. So this is your standard Raspberry Pi. It has an Ethernet port here. It's got 4 USB ports. And then it's got, as you can see here, micro HDMI ports. So this is actually a full HDMI output from these two. You can connect it to an HDMI 1080p high definition monitor. Here's a USB-C port. And it also has Wi-Fi integrated into it. And actually, when we spin up the robot, the Raspberry Pi will act like a hotspot, and we'll log into it, and we'll start running software from there. Well, anyway, here are the major components of it. And at the bottom is a spot for our USB card. So I'm going to do the easiest thing first and install the, not USB card, but excuse me, the memory module, the flash memory module. Take this out. Now this should have the software pre-installed in it, and they give you this device. They give you this this device to load the software on it. So I'm going to take this card, and I'm actually going to go to my computer and check it first. So I'll be right back to make sure that the image is in fact on it, and I'll be back in a quick second. Sorry. Okay, all right, we're back. So I just checked to see if there was in fact an image on this memory module. So when you buy the kit, it comes preloaded with the image. I just wanted to take the extra step to double check, because you'll see once this Raspberry Pi and expansion board are installed on the robot, it will be very, very difficult to access this memory. So I'm going to go and put this memory module in this fashion. Okay, so that's it. The next thing to do is to install the heatsink. All right, so this is the heatsink, the fan with the heatsink, and I'll pull this out. Now, on the bottom are pads. I believe these have a thermal paste on it. You don't want to touch that. But before I put this in, let's do a quick practice orientation. So the Raspberry Pi is in, move this off to the side. Let's put the Raspberry Pi in the center of the screen. So the Raspberry Pi is in this orientation, and what we'll do is we'll take this module, we'll put it on top, and then this will go into that hole, and this will spring into that hole. Now, that's just a quick test run before I actually put it in. Now I've got one shot to do this, right? So I'm going to remove this, and what remains is adhesive, thermal adhesive. It's sticky. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. So now, what I'm going to do is going to be very, very carefully leaves it gets plugged in there. So I'm going to very, very carefully put this down. All right. And push this in. Okay, that side's up. Be very careful about it. And put that side in. And install this fan module. Again, this connector is keyed. It's very difficult to see the keying on it. It's actually very small. You probably can't see it on camera, and me with my eyes. It's hard for me to see here. Again, this is a very tiny connector. Okay, so that's in. So that cooler module's in. Now, when this goes onto the robot, it'll go like this. It'll go in this orientation, right? And remember when I said the memory module will be very difficult to pull out? Well, that's because the memory module is here, right? So in order to pull out that module and image it, to pull out this entire assembly, there'll be a top on here, and it will be difficult to do. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this, and the next thing is to prepare to install the Raspberry Pi expansion module. So I'll take this module out and throw this bag out. Clean up as we go along. Let's focus on the Raspberry Pi. So this is the header. It'll go on top in this fashion. Now I'm not actually attaching it. So this will go here, and then there are nylon standoffs that will go in here. Now, if you like puzzle, you're really going to enjoy this one because of the order of assembly. So here, this is part of the standoffs, right? These will go on the bottom of the Raspberry Pi. And then these are nylon standoffs. These nylon standoffs will go in the middle of it, and then this will go up on top, supported by the standoffs, and then this will screw into the Raspberry Pi, and this entire assembly will go on top of the chassis, and then the screws will come from below the chassis and screw into it, affixing it there. So, first thing first, I'm going to take these nylon pieces and put them into my plastic cups so that there's easy access. So I'm only going to take 4 of them because that's all I need, and the remaining 2 can, I think it looks like there's 6 of them in here. So I'll put 4 in my glass, and the remaining 2 can stay in the plastic bag for safekeeping. So there are 4 standoffs in here, 4 of the feet. Those go here. Plastic bag gets sealed. I'll take the middle standoffs and I'll put them in this plastic cup. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 standoffs, all in this plastic cup. And there are 2 remaining, and I'll zip them up in the back. So I'll put these off to the side for safekeeping. Now, it's time to start attaching these. So I'll take this standoff, and I'll take this foot. Now this is tricky because we're going to have to make sure these are tight, but these are nylon, and I don't want these to get too tight because then you can cross-thread them and they break. So I got this started. I'm screwing this in. Yeah, screw that in. That's pretty tight. Dare I use the pliers? No, I'm not going to use the pliers. I was thinking of putting a plier here and another pair of pliers here and rotating. I'm not going to do that. I'll make sure that's finger tight. Again, it's nylon. I don't want to break the nylon. That would be bad. Okay. So get another of these. Put that in this hole. Get the standoff going. Start screwing it in. All right. Get that finger tight. All right. Get that finger tight. Nah, probably not best to use the pliers on this. Okay, so the third standoff assembly with the nylon foot and the nylon standoff. So take that, put that in here, put the nylon standoff. I'm gonna get that started, and then again, I'm right-handed, so I'll do the remaining tightening with my right hand. Put that in there, and I'll make it finger tight. Okay. And then the remaining nylon standoff assembly. We'll take this, put it in here, put it in like this, put this nylon standoff in, screw the remaining assembly into place. Get it nice and finger tight. Put that in there. Okay, so that's in. I'm going to gently move this delicate cable off to the side because the Raspberry Pi expansion will go on top of it. So I'm going to take this. Now remember, you also have to be delicate. Now see these pins? I believe there are like 40 pins here, approximately 40 pins. And you don't want to, bend them. So again, I'm going to take this header and very carefully get that started slightly like that. Okay, see? All of the pins are lined up and squeeze. Okay, so they're squeezed. So the next thing to do, there are 2 remaining screw holes. There's a screw there and there's a screw there. So I'll screw in that expansion board before screwing it into the chassis. So I need the M 2.5 by 6. So it's more of these. So there's a remaining 2 screws. These are actually, sorry, not the standoffs, the screws themselves. I need the M 2.5 by 6 screws, and I'm sure you're all laughing at me. This guy, he can't find the screws. Maybe he should have organized them earlier. Give me a quick second here. I'm looking for the M 2.5 by 6 screw. Maybe if I call out to it, it'll come faster. No, I'm just kidding. Screws don't talk. Here they are. Okay, so the M 2.5 by 6 screw, just looking at the heads of this, I'm not sure whether I'll use my precision screwdriver or the screwdriver that Hiwonder gave me with the kit. Excuse me, I bought it with the kit. Okay, so I'll take, there's 3 of them. I need 2. I'll only keep the ones that I need out, and I'll put this one back in its bag for safekeeping. Okay, so these 2 screws, let's see here. Let's see if the head of this screwdriver fits. Honestly, it's a little bit too big. Let's use my precision screwdriver. Now, this precision screwdriver has a tip that comes in and out of it. So if this tip is too small, I'll just get a different one. Actually, this tip seems to be working fine. So I'll put this in here, get it started. All right, now I'll put this in here, get it started. Actually, I'm going to tighten it down. So this screw is tightened down. Again, don't want to over tighten. It's metal going into nylon. So again, too tight and it could break it. Okay, so this module has been assembled and now it's time to put it onto the chassis. So this is a little bit tricky here. We have our delicate cables on the chassis that we need to be careful about. So I'm going to take these cables and gently move them off to the side. Gently move them off to the side. So what we'll do, ultimately these cables plug into this header. So I'm going to put this in here, and maybe hard for you to see because this is on top of black anodized aluminum and based on your orientation, but that's how it's going to go. And ultimately these cables will plug in here. Yeah, these cables will plug in here. So they don't say it in the instructions, but it might be best to attach the cables into the headers first and then mount it, because look, it's a very, very tight space. It's a very tight space here. So the sensors will plug into these 2 ports here. So the line follower sensor will plug into this middle port, and the ultrasonic sensor will plug in here. So while we're here like this, I'll get my ultrasonic sensor. I'm actually going to unplug it from here. Sorry, I lied earlier. And we'll put this back in when we get the battery box. So the line follower sensor goes in the middle one here. So we'll put this in this way. This is keyed. Put that in. And then the ultrasonic sensor will go in here. Again, these are keyed connectors. Okay, so what I can do with the line follower sensor is put it underneath the board, put it into this hole, and then eventually when we put the battery pack in, route it in there. So put that sensor in there, and then I'll flip this around and very gently pull this. All right, don't want to strain it, and then it'll go in here, this in the line follower, after that battery pack gets plugged in. And then this is the ultrasonic sensor cable, so I'll neatly nest that cable in there. And then these are the stepper motor cables, and I'll leave these out for now, but you got to make sure they can reach these four. These four headers are where the mecanum motors will plug into. So I'm going to take these like this, and I'm going to take this like that, and make sure these are out of the way. And again, this is where things get tricky. So now what happens is there are holes here, and the screws will come from the bottom of this chassis. They'll go bottom up. So I'll grab them. It's the 2.5 by 6 machine screws. You may be able to see there. I'll take these and I'll put that in my plastic cup. This plastic cup, let's get that one out of the way. That one fell. So we'll get 4 of these machine screws here. And there are 4 in my plastic cup. So I'll close this bag and use it later for safekeeping. And now we have to gently, all right, this is a little bit awkward, take this assembly, put it upside down, and line up the nylon standoffs. It's actually a little tricky to see. If you can't see it, that's just the way it is. It's even tricky for me to see, and I'm touching the board. Okay, so I line that up. Sometimes it doesn't cooperate. Okay, probably should have done that first. Okay. All right, so here we go. Line up the screw holes. It's somewhat difficult to see. So again, the metal and the nylon, let it catch. Believe it's been caught. Okay. Again, don't want to completely tighten it. Leave a little bit of slop so you can start lining up the other screw holes. So I'll leave that like that, and I'll get another screw in my magnetic precision screwdriver, and then I'll get that ready to go into the hole. So here's the next hole. Again, I like to do the diagonal pattern. So here's the next hole that's diagonally across from the first one. So get that started. Okay. Now, if you didn't notice, there's the swivel on the top of this, so I can put my hand like this and push in and manipulate the screwdriver in this fashion to screw in the screw. So here's the next one. 2 down, 2 to go. So we'll put this screw in there in this fashion. Should line up, get it started, and it's started. And here's the next one. And we'll put that in here. Oh, and by the way, unplugging the cable from the line follower, you got to be careful. You don't want to. When I did that earlier, you got to be careful. Okay, so this one's in. It's tight. This one, it's diagonal. Don't want to get too tight. Okay, it's tight. Get this one in. It's tight. All right, and get this one in. It's tight. All right, so let's see what our robot looks like. So this is it from the bottom. All right, I've got this cable here. I'm gonna leave it disconnected from the line follower. And earlier when I pulled this cable out, you gotta be careful. Grab it by the connector, right? And pull from the connector. Don't pull from the black, pull from the white connector, right? And pull straight out, because you don't wanna bend the connectors, all right? But again, don't pull on the black cable when you pull it out. Pull on the white thing and pull it out in that direction. Okay, so here's our robot so far. So we've got most of the controller assembled. We've got the image on it. Now remember, check your image first. When you get that memory, plug it in your computer and make sure that the bootable image is on there for the Raspberry Pi. In this case, I got the Raspberry Pi 5. Make sure that image is on there, all right? Because again, it's very hard, very difficult to get to it. It's underneath this, it's here, it's in here. And once the robot is assembled, it's very difficult to get to that image. Well, anyway, so here's where we are. This is the expansion board. This is the power, or actually one of the power switches. The other one's on the battery pack. So this is the on position. We'll keep that in the off position for now. Here's the servo motor cable that we'll use for our HD camera. Then here are the cables for our mechanical motors. And remember, in an earlier video, I put a marking on the front cables, the cables for the motors that go in the front. And when we get to connecting these, there's a specific numbering that goes to them, but these motor cables will plug into these 4 headers. So that's what our robot looks like from now. Rotate it. I'll leave it here and we'll take a break. Hi, I'm Andrew, the Paisley Robot Guy. And if you like what you saw in that video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons below. I'd very much appreciate it. Thanks.